Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today? I went spiraling into a depression that lasted about a week after I made a video stating my belief that the coronavirus is not a hoax and it's worse than the flu, because 45% of the people that watch me disagreed or down thumbs. And so I'm feeling better now. And so I'm going to do what I do, which is give you my opinion and my perspective on things. And we live in an age where everybody lives in like a binary hive mind, for lack of a better term. I know that's an oversimplification, but, and so it's like they believe exactly what the Democrats tell them, or they believe exactly what the Republicans tell them. And I don't have any faith in the political process, and that has been my stance for 7 years at THORnews. So if you're just looking for someone to agree with you, then this is not the place for you, man. Not this video especially. This is going to be an Asteroid Fight Club, no punches pulled, because that's what I do for you. And I got to tell you, I believe that Democrats and Republicans both work for Wall Street, and they work like worldwide wrestling, and that they put on a big show for us. And so it has been my belief that Donald Trump, our president, and Democrats have been working together to give the election to Donald Trump in 2020, because he is the most pro-corporate, pro-Wall Street president we've ever had. And the plague, the coronavirus, caught everyone off guard. Although Leo King had talked about it, and I had warned of the Pluto-Saturn conjunction that started in January 15th. And so that's where we're at. And it has really knocked everybody off course. And a lot of the times people speak through an American perspective, but I've been covering this with the same stance since January 30th. And that you need to watch like Russia, you need to watch Egypt, you need to watch Turkey, you need to watch Japan. Like, this is a global situation that has been happening. Okay? And so I think America's handled this piss poorly, and it is my firm belief that a lot of the connection to the virus has to do with the sun, sunlight. I think elevators and subways are like the worst culprits that make the situations worse. And so we are going to totally botch the reopening, and then we're going to be in some type of a lockdown again, which will probably be worse than the one we have now when the fall gets here again. And so let me address some of the theories that I totally disagree with. First of all, the people that say this is a hoax, I believe you're talking out of your ass and you have no idea what you're talking about. This is a real virus, and the viruses tend to show up, A, at solar minimums, and B, when humanity goes way off course. Like the 1918 Spanish flu, which killed millions, showed up after World War I, at a time where the world had a chance to go in a good direction. They just decided to have a giant world war. And so at the end of 100 years of war, nonstop war, we get a brand new plague. And so I believe it is uncontrolled, and it caught everyone off guard. And so, no, it's not a hoax. The virus attacks your lungs, it attacks your brain, it attacks your liver, it attacks pretty much your organs. And yes, people with pre-existing conditions and older people are more susceptible, but it mutates and acts in strange ways in different locations and variations. And I totally disagree with people who say that it is just like the flu or no worse than the flu. And on one of the cruise ships, 11 people died, and I can't ever remember a time hearing that like 11 people died from a flu on a cruise. And we have seen, varying death rates, but higher death rates in all over the world. So, although it seems like the colder places get hit the hardest. And so, no, I definitely think it is not a hoax, and it is worse than the flu. And you don't want to catch it. You don't want your mom to catch it. You don't want your friends to catch it. And that it is best to avoid it. And I think we could be opening up the majority of everything faster if everyone wore masks when they went inside stores. And there's this giant outbreak of like, you can't force me to wear a mask. We have a constitution. It's like, dude, they force you to wear a shirt and pants. And so if the big World War II battle is that we all got to wear masks when we go to buy groceries, or we all got to wear masks when we go into a store or on an airplane, or then it's not that big a sacrifice, in my opinion, as your planetary defense commander. And another thing that the military seems to be taking extremely serious, doctors and nurses are taking it very serious. And so I'm not going to be swayed by people who 90% of their brain talk about politics. 'Cause politics is bullshit there to distract you. All right? And so that's my opinion. Like, we had a plague hit us in 1918, and it killed millions. We had a plague hit us in the 1600s. It killed millions. We had a plague hit us in the 1300s. The Black Death killed millions. So plagues show up, and they are real. Plagues existed before Bill Gates. Plagues existed before your cell phone. Plagues existed before Illuminati conspiracy theories. And so, I see no evidence to let my guard down. As temperatures get hotter, I think we're going to have to, quote unquote, fight the virus less, or that it won't be as prevalent, but I think that it will make a major resurgence in the fall. And then the lockdowns will be really bad. And a lot of places around the world have changed. They're like not opening until July. And so, our political system haven't really done anything to solidify the social safety nets, because everything is focused on the 2020 election. But like I said, I believe that everybody was giving it to Trump, and then this totally knocked everything off guard. So it's like scripted. The thing they were going to roll out is the Obamagate. And I think Obamagate is the Republicans' version of Russiagate. So it's a nothing burger. And the Russiagate was a nothing burger. And so they're going to try and waste everybody's time. But I don't think that is going to work with, over 80,000 people dead. And we're going to hit 100,000 deaths in about 2 weeks. And I know people who have lost family members. Like we lost, just this last few days, we lost one of the two Tiger guys from Vegas. I forget what they're, Roy and the other guy. One of them died. We lost a big R&B producer who pretty much produced everybody. And then we lost Little Richard, who's the godfather of rock and roll. Yeah. So, I mean, even in this 7 weeks that it's happened, we've already seen a year's worth of deaths. So, I don't know. It's real, but there are scary aspects to this. I do not hate Donald Trump, and as Planetary Defense Commander, under no circumstances do I want to lose our president, And so part of the reason I got freaked out and super depressed is because news came out that Trump's personal valet had tested for COVID. Pence's press secretary had tested for COVID. Ivanka Trump's personal assistant had tested for COVID. And so, it's around the White House, and I'm worried that, I don't know, our president is a pretty strong-willed guy. And so I've learned from people who surround themselves with quote-unquote yes men, which I'm pretty sure our president does, that nobody can tell him what to do. And so I'm worried he's putting his own life in danger and believing some of the bullshit him and his teams spew out. And so, that's why and it's weird because like 45% of the Americans think he's like Superman or on a level with Jesus Christ where he can't make any mistakes. And no matter what, he's just going to be, like he's safe. And I think that he could be cutting some corners, and the whole him not wearing a mask, I don't know. I'm worried. I do not want to lose our president, but at this point, I am worried, dude. And I don't even know how America would handle that. And so I really think we should be solidifying our social safety nets, but B, like one of the main solutions would be if everybody wore a mask indoors when they were in a shop. We could open up everything faster. We could deal with it faster. It drops the infection rate to about anywhere from 1.5% to 5%. But like I said, they've I think they're doing a strategy where they're downplaying the numbers. So they've got like everybody on the right saying, oh, they're boosting their numbers. Well, that would mean Russia's boosting their numbers and Japan's boosting their numbers. But at the same time, we're accusing China of like, oh, China, we're going to go to war with China because they didn't tell us the truth about how bad this was. But on the same vein, they're saying, oh, it's not that bad. So it's like Schrodinger's cat with this story, where it's like the same people who were saying trust the plan are now saying plandemic. And so if, like, let's say for a half second that the plandemic situation is true and that like Bill Gates and Fauci and Soros did this on purpose, well, then that would be admitting that the deep state pulled one over on Trump. And so the deep state beat Trump, dude. So that him spending 3.5 years calling everybody names, talking about how great he was, and then cheering on the stock markets was not the wisest planetary defense commander move. And so in a worst case scenario, we lose 6.5 billion people over the next 10 years to depopulation by supervillains. Worst case scenario, everybody dies. And so we've always known on for the last 7 years at THORnews that, yeah, some type of controlled depopulation has always been a bad guy plan. And so knowing that, sitting there for the last 3.5 years talking about how evil Hillary Clinton is and just calling everybody, all the Democrats, names and saying, oh, we're going to have a bunch of mass arrests that never happened. That wasn't, and cheering on the stock market, yay, it's at 30,000. That was not a great move. As planetary defense commander, that has never been my move. And so if you want to say, if it is plandemic is true, that means that they beat Trump. They outsmarted Trump at 7D chess. But like I said, it's with this weird state that like 40% think that everything Trump does is absolutely perfect and that the man is incapable of ever making a mistake. And I watch as they craft the narrative around that whatever happened, it's just he did pure genius at all times and he's always A+ and he never makes a single mistake. Holy crap, that gets on my nerves. And that him calling for the liberation of like Michigan, Minnesota, and Virginia was one of the weirdest days ever. Because to me, that puts like our military in a bad light. Anyway. And so, like 95% of the entire truth community is super pro-Republican, super pro-Trump, or super conservative. And it's best to not have, everybody agree. But I want to point out the same people that told you to trust the plan are now telling you it's a plandemic. And so did the plan go off the rails? And that supposedly the smartest guys on the planet, whether it be Donald Trump, who at one point, was it the end of February 29th, where he said, or was it March, where he said we have 0 cases in America and no, we have 15 cases of COVID in America and soon that will drop to 0. And before that, he said that the sun will knock it out before April. And so he was totally wrong, man. He was totally wrong. At a time where I told you this was going to bring lockdowns in the middle of March, the president said we were at 15 and going to drop to 0. We're now at 80,000 dead. And Elon Musk, March 19th, said based on current trends, probably close to 0 new cases in the U.S. by the end of April. So Elon and Trump totally got this thing wrong. And if you live in a world where you can't admit that they got it wrong, I don't know how to deal with you, man. You're welcome to keep listening, but I'm just saying, I don't know, trusting politicians or billionaires, trusting the billionaires never been my thing. Getting the billionaires not to kill us has been my job, dude. Getting the billionaires not to turn us into Soylent Green has always been my job. Not being like, oh yeah, dude, this billionaire is definitely the one we should follow. Or, anyway, so it's a real deal. And we are probably going to be dealing with this for 2 years. The best case scenario was that the sun would knock it out when solar maximum returns. But I think that this is a little esoteric for you, that the thing feeds on negative vibrations or positive vibrations. So the angrier and the madder and the more divided we become, the worse the virus will get. But if we can turn it around, things will get better. But at this point, I'm losing hope that the sun will knock it out in July because we're not doing that great. And so we are probably going to be dealing with this on and off for 2 more years. And that I think it's real, and that we're going to have some form of reopening, but I think we're totally going to botch that. We're going to watch the numbers totally shoot back up 2 weeks from now. And it's going to be a mess, at least until September. And then it might be a much bigger mess. And this is a worldwide issue, man. Worldwide, we now have over 4 million cases, and we have over 283,000 deaths, which 80 of those 1,000 being Americans. And I believe that if they are fudging the numbers, they're fudging them down, that the numbers are actually worse than what they're telling us. And so even though we have 7 billion people worldwide, America only has 370 million people. We have the mother load of the lion's share of all the cases. So no, I mean, I think the UK is doing worse, but as far as how they handled it, but we have not done well, and we're not doing well. And I don't think we're going to continue to do well. And so I think that's going to end up in some bad spots. I fear at this point the election will probably be between Pence and Biden, or Pence and we don't even know. That, this has been highly dangerous to people over 60 with pre-existing conditions. Me, I'm overweight, and I'm a smoker, so I have been taking it very seriously. I know people who think they're in great health. They're like bulletproof, but you can always pass it on to someone else. Anywho, as Planetary Defense Commander, this has definitely been the least fun year ever. And so I tell you to play defense. I recommend wearing a mask. But like I said, people are shooting people over masks. And the whole, I can't even express the whole idea of people are like, hey, man, the Constitution says I don't have to wear a freaking mask. Well, you got to wear pants. You got to wear underwear. You got to wear a shirt. For the next year, if that is the big sacrifice you got to make to get everything open and keep everybody safe, it's not that much to ask, man. And everybody in the military is having to do it. All the doctors and nurses are having to do it. It would be best to protect our essentials workers that way. But, we've got some weird rebellions going on in this hot, cold civil war in America. But it's not just an American issue. The idea that you would get billions of people in on this pandemic or get people to fudge the numbers, it's just ridiculous to me. And it just shows how much we've gone backwards in the last 7 years as critical thinkers. So I recommend maximum defense for May. You don't have to agree. You don't have to believe it. But like I said, I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose the president, dude. And it's going to be a weird day if he gets it, everything's going to be weird. And I would say the chance of him getting it are like 40 to 50%. The rate of everything. I really got depressed and freaked out, man. And so, 26,000 New Yorkers. I don't really know any or many New Yorkers who are saying this thing is a hoax or isn't as bad as the flu. New Jersey, Massachusetts, Illinois. And the whole thing is, if you look at deaths per population, my state is doing pretty good. And so, if I wanted to let my guard down, I felt like I could, but I'm not going to, because it's just not the smartest thing to do right now. But now the NASDAQ is only 5% off all-time highs. And this is after we've lost 80,000 Americans, which is almost, 25 9/11s in a 7-week span. And we had 33 million people lose their jobs. So that's why, as I've told you the whole time, Wall Street is the stockholders run everything. And that, the people are the power. And that until we unite, we're going to keep getting pushed around by the giant machine that gives you a binary narrative choice. But I'm asking you whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or neither to take this seriously. Wear a mask when you go in a store. But it works most effectively if everyone's wearing a mask. So I don't know, but I definitely think the rest of the year is going to be super rocky. And lockdowns will return and be worse than the ones before, because we totally botched this from February on, which, like I said, I went into a real low depression for like a week because I hate to watch us do bad, and I hate to, as Planetary Defense Commander, have lost so many people on my watch. All right, it's me giving you my opinion. I'm sure there are points I left out. I'll let you know later. But please stay cool, and God bless everyone. Peace out.